The soft hum of jet engines in the background almost seemed like white noise in the bustling terminal of Langston International Airport. Families clutched carry-ons, business people whispered into earpieces, and monitors blinked updated flight times. It was a typical Friday afternoon rush except for the moment that would alter everything. Seated near Gate 43B were two 17-year-old twins, Isaiah and Elijah Palmer. Identical in face, but opposite in temperament. Isaiah was the quieter of the two, with a sketchpad often tucked under his arm, filled with drawings of cars and cityscapes. Elijah, meanwhile, exuded charisma, forever cracking jokes and offering up bright smiles to strangers. They wore matching navy polos and khakis, not because they were told to, but because their mother had instilled in them a sense of pride about representing their family, well, especially when traveling. Their sneakers were spotless, their carry-ons tucked neatly beneath their seats, and their boarding passes rested snugly in the outer pouch of Elijah's backpack. They were on their way to Washington, D.C., for a summer leadership program at a prestigious youth academy. Scholarships, recommendations, and hard-earned community hours had paved their way. Their mother, Nadine Palmer, a high school science teacher and single parent, had sacrificed so much to get them here. When first-class boarding was called, Isaiah and Elijah rose, slinging their backpacks over their shoulders. They stepped into the priority lane with the quiet confidence of boys raised to know their worth. As they reached the gate agent, a woman in her early 40s with a severe bun and even sterner eyes glanced at their tickets. She frowned. "I think you're in the wrong line," she said flatly, without scanning anything. "This line is for first class only." Elijah offered his usual friendly grin. "Yes, ma'am. We're in seats 1A and 1B. "I highly doubt that," she muttered, reaching for the tickets. Her lips curled slightly as she read the names. "Well, these appear to be real." "Appear to be?" Isaiah asked, his voice calm but firm. "It's just unusual, that's all," the agent replied. "Do you have a guardian flying with you?" "No," Elijah said, his smile now gone. "We're flying alone." A line had begun to form behind them. A businessman coughed pointedly. A couple exchanged glances. The gate agent shifted uncomfortably, then stepped aside with a brisk wave. "Fine. Go ahead." They moved through, shouldering the unspoken accusations like weightless bags. Inside the plane, they settled into their seats. A flight attendant, a tall man with silvering temples and a clipped British accent, raised an eyebrow as he passed. Minutes later, he returned with a pursed smile. "Gentlemen, would you mind showing me your tickets again?" Isaiah handed his over wordlessly. The attendant scanned it, then did the same with Elijah's. "Interesting," he murmured. "These are quite in order." "Of course they are," Isaiah said. Still, the man lingered. "I'll need to verify something with the purser." "Just standard protocol." They watched as he disappeared behind the curtain. Passengers settled in around them. Overhead bins closed with thuds. Safety instructions flashed across the screens. The twins sat still. And then came the announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, due to a booking error, we will need to reassign 2 seats from first class. We ask for your understanding." The flight attendant returned. "Isaiah, Elijah, I'm afraid we'll need you to relocate to the back. It seems a mistake has been made." Elijah blinked. "A mistake? We paid for these seats," Isaiah said. "My mother confirmed twice." Yes, the attendant said. "But there's a couple platinum members who need to sit up here. It's about airline policy." "Or," Elijah said slowly, "is it about how we look?" The attendant flinched. A hush fell over the cabin. A woman in the adjacent row stiffened. A man down the aisle glanced up from his phone. "Please don't make a scene," the attendant whispered. Isaiah stood. "The only scene is the one being forced on us." "We'll be contacting our mother," Elijah added, reaching for his phone. And Nadine Palmer answered on the second ring. The voice that erupted from the speaker was measured but unmistakably fierce. "Put me on with your supervisor. Now." Within minutes, the purser arrived. Then the captain. Passengers murmured. A young woman across the aisle began recording. Nadine's voice rang through the speaker. "I booked those seats with my own money. I have receipts, confirmation numbers, and the names of the booking agents. My sons are not moving." The captain sighed. "They're allowed to stay." The attendant looked away. The gate agent, who had stepped aboard mid-commotion, turned beet red. The twins sat back down. Silence. Tension. Then applause, soft at first, then steady. The flight continued. But the story did not end at cruising altitude. By the time the plane landed, the video had been shared over 1 million times. Hashtags exploded. News anchors debated. Airline reps scrambled. 3 days later, Nadine Palmer stood behind a podium at a press conference. To her left stood her sons. To her right, a civil rights attorney. This wasn't just about seats on a plane, she said. This was about dignity. About assumptions. About a system that, even in 2025, still finds ways to question Black excellence. She didn't yell. She didn't weep. She simply told the truth. The airline issued a formal apology. The gate agent was suspended. The attendant was placed on indefinite leave. And Isaiah and Elijah? They became speakers at their youth leadership summit, standing before hundreds to tell their story not as victims, but as catalysts. People will question your place in the world, Isaiah told the crowd. Let them. Then show them you belong. And if they still don't believe you, Elijah added with a grin, call your mama. The audience erupted with laughter and applause. And somewhere, high above, another flight soared through cloudless skies, carrying 2 young men who had refused to be moved.